bit my mic. I didn't bite it yet. Somebody did. Ready? Okay.
That's just the first time I looked at myself.
Okay, we're going to call the finance meeting to order, 9 o'clock. Thursday, June 10th, zip code day. Today is 6/10/21, just for FYI.
Ooh, hey.
And Becky's mom, happy birthday. Roll call, Arlen McLean, Doug Farster, Rick Humphrey, Tom Kitson, Lyra Mimini, Jim Sheeline. Everybody get a chance to look at the minutes. Any additions or corrections? They'll stand as read. We've got visitors. We've got Marilyn, anything?
Nothing at this time, thank you.
Okay, Kevin, are you there?
Yep, nothing here. Just see if you had
Okay.
any questions.
Greg Gates, anything?
Nothing, Jim. Thank you.
Okay, Joan Sage, Comcast. Hi, good morning. We've got you scheduled down the line, but I think after we get done here in a minute, we'll go ahead and come to you. Then you won't have to sit for the whole meeting.
Whatever works for you. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Joan. Paula, anything?
No.
Stacy? Okay. Dee?
Nothing.
Okay. Nancy?
Not at this time, thank you.
Okay. Mike Copine?
No, sir, nothing.
Okay.
See, that's what he did at Monday, Mike meeting.
Okay.
He was just
Down under new business, we've got the Comcast franchise agreement. And this is looked at every 10 years and it's come due now. And we have the option in that agreement that we can receive a 5% franchise fee, which we have not been doing. So I would like, Joan, if you could touch bases on the highlights of this and what the options are for the county.
Surely, of course. Thank you so much for the opportunity. As you may be aware, we are regulated by the FCC, and in the Cable Act, they allow for communities to charge nothing, which is what you're doing now, or up to 5%. That is completely at your option. If you so choose to do that, you would need to have a public hearing to let the public know that this is something you're going to do. You would vote on it, and within 90 days, we would start putting that fee onto the bills of your customers. It would be noted on the bill as franchise fee. And then once a quarter, we will send you whatever it is that we've collected. We don't charge a service fee to do that. Whatever comes in is what you get quarterly. So that is your option. And you can decide to do that at any time during the 10 years. So if you sign this agreement, it just gives you the option. But one of the things is that you do have to have the franchise, and that at any point that you may want to put that fee on, you are welcome to do so.
Okay. I had one question, Joan. How much of Comcast and the cable is outside, is in the county? Do you have any idea that it's not?
I can find out those numbers for you and
Okay.
give you, I can tell you what those are. That's proprietary information, so I won't share it on Census's YouTube, but I will get
Okay.
that information to the committee.
Okay. Do the surrounding counties exercise this option to have the 5%?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. You are one of the very few that doesn't. So everyone in this area does charge that fee.
Okay. Any questions for Joan, Arlen?
Do we have any estimate? I know she can't give the total numbers of what that means for revenue.
Did you hear that, Joan?
No, I didn't.
Do you have an estimate or a ballpark on what that might mean for estimated revenue?
I will get that for you.
Okay, great.
I should hear, I
One
should be able
thing
to have that today.
you guys have got the copy of the agreement, I believe. I was looking at 5.1.1, and it says where we're allowed to do the 5%, but I didn't think we needed a hearing unless we elected to charge over the 5%. Am I reading that agreement wrong?
Yeah, it is a little bit confusing. The FCC will not allow you to go over the 5%. And that the 5.1.1 that speaks to if you only had 2% and you wanted to increase it. Since you have 0 right now, there would need to be a public hearing.
Okay. Are there any other questions for Joan? Tom Kitson.
I'm not sure if the question's for you or for Joan, but you mentioned how many houses outside of the city. Does that mean we would not collect on anything in the city, or is it just, do we cover everything in the county with this 5%, or do we cover?
If I'm right,
I'm
correct
trying,
me if
Marilyn.
I'm wrong, Joan, but the city of Dixon already charges their customers a franchise fee. Am I correct?
Yes, the city of Dixon charges. So this fee, they wouldn't be double charged because they're in the county. This would be only for the unincorporated areas where you have customers.
Okay, any other questions for Joan? I think, Joan, if you could get us that information,
Absolutely.
we'll revisit this maybe next month or something like that. I have Becky get a hold of you and, give us those figures that, the proprietary
Right.
figures, and we can look at it from that point. Like you said, we have any time in the 10 years that we could initiate it.
Sure. And the franchise expires in August. So we
Okay.
want to make sure that we get it done before then. But I should
Okay.
be able to get you that information today.
Okay, all right. Well, we can sign the agreement without the franchise fee, but if we elected to later on in the 10-year period, we could do that with that hearing.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
good.
And that's important for you to know. That can come at any point. So right
Okay.
now, you just have to have the franchise signed in order to put that fee on, but you can do that at any time.
Okay, great. We'll be in touch then for next
Thank you
month.
so much. And if you have any questions anywhere along the way, please do let me know. Becky has all of my contact information, and you're all welcome to contact me directly if you so choose.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, moving down the line. Visitors, we went through financial, the monthly report. Everybody has it. Are there any questions that you have for the treasurer on that? To me, real quick, everything's going up. Looks good. Have you guys taken a peek at that? We're past last year's for sure. That's great. We don't have a quarterly report this month. Jim, on the insurance committee, any updates or meetings on that? Okay. Liram, anything going on over there with Redco?
Yes, Redco closed on 10 acres. Is it better?
Yes.
Okay. Redco closed on 10 acres next to Rochelle Transloading Center, and will spend about $1 million to develop a container yard so the industries in the area will have access to the new intermodal service. Since the Global 3 closed, all international traffic is closed to go to Chicago. Construction will begin in August. This doesn't pertain to much to Lee County, but it might pertain to the jobs. The project Jackpot, the former Nippon Sharia facility will announce a new industry, and it will be a steel fabricating industry. Averaging starting wage is about $25 an hour. The city of Rochelle has broken ground on a 100 megawatt substation north of Lee-Ogle County line. This will provide power for expanding new industrial development in Lee County. That's all I have. The latter part is what pertains mostly to us, the transloading center.
Any questions for Lirim? Thank you, Lirim. Monthly resolutions, we have 2 Joseph Meyer tax auction resolutions. They're included in your packet on what that would bring the county. It's always to the plus when we have the auction. So I need a motion to move that to the executive committee. Motion by Jim Sheeline, seconded by Tom Kitson. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Under old business, we have the access card project, the old new courthouse. I don't know where John Nicholson, Sheriff, can you give a real quick on the swipe cards? Real quick.
Hey, good morning. I had a quote by Engel Electric in combination with Procom. I did it that way because Procom has also been with the county in various departments for a long time and installed one of the first card readers. So jointly they submitted a bid, and I think you might have it in front of you. It's a little over $18,000 for the one north door, one south door of this old courthouse, and also where you store the election equipment, and also the server room down on the first floor. So those 3 doors plus all the hardware and labor that's included. And so the quote should be there. If not, I know Properties had it. I was hoping that they'd pass it on to finance. If not, it's a little over 18,000. Again, for your consideration, and I'm also submitting this to the American Rescue Plan Committee this afternoon. Take a look and see if that's applicable at all for an expenditure from that fund. Okay.
Any questions?
Does that cover the new courthouse too?
We've already upgraded the new courthouse.
Okay.
The only thing it doesn't include, but Greg Saunders is working on his end, is we are looking at, and I think he's talked to you in previous meetings about a generator for this building. That would certainly be appropriate when we're using the card reader system, because if we have a power outage, that goes as well. So we'll be looking at the generator more in depth for over here for other purposes besides just that.
Okay, I think we can discuss this at the Rescue Plan Act this afternoon. I'm sure there's a provision in there I read on the updates for public safety, and this assuredly is for public safety. So I'm guessing we'll be in the parameters to meet that and be able to do that with the rescue plan funding. So, okay, under new business.
Jim, sorry.
I'm sorry.
Under the old business, I don't know if we can do this under the new business or not, but I want to talk a little bit about the CPACE program. I know it's not on the agenda, but I'd like to see that we get Andy Shaw.
Microphone a little closer.
Why is it not? Okay, about the CPACE program, I'd like to see Andy Shaw and Kevin Marks come back to us with that and explain one more time about the economic incentives that the county would benefit from this program.
I think we've talked to them twice about this,
Well,
right? They want to talk again?
Yeah, well, I would like them, I think they should come back again and explain. I talked to somebody in Ogle County, and I think Joe Davis County has already agreed to use them. And I think it's a good economic development, good incentive for it. It doesn't cost the county anything, and I don't think it's a burden on the county financially or workload wise.
Workload is what we the treasurer's office is pretty much burdened right now and through the tax season. So that was one of the things that we discussed in not getting with the loan program. The bottom line, that's what it is. If you're a private citizen, you can borrow money and it's administered through us, which it does. The county may receive a couple $100 for the administration fee. I understood that, but if they want to come back and talk, I guess they can, but twice we've said it wasn't a good fit for Lee County. So that's where I'm at. Does anybody on the committee have any thoughts?
Only
Tom?
if Laram feels that strong about it, let's let him come
I
back and discuss it.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, we can do that.
Maybe
We can do
something
that,
has
Laram.
changed, so we
Yeah.
could just.
Have Andy come back. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, under new business, we have received 3 proposals for our auditing services. You guys have them in your packet. And this is for a 3-year period. And it entails county general, the circuit clerk's audit, lots, the dope grant, 5311 grant, 911, the jail commissary, and possibly another federal audit. And the price, as you can see, the lowest price was by Lauterbach and Amen, LLP, out of Naperville. They give references of Henry and LaSalle County. I tried to get a hold of the Stephanie Thompson, the treasurer down there, and she hasn't got back to me yet. So, but their figure for the first year as compared to the other 2 is considerably less. But that does, Paula talked with the gal from Lauterbach, and that does include everything that's listed there. Questions?
Paula, do you have any thoughts on this to share with us?
I think all 3 of the firms that responded have got sufficient experience to do our audit. So I think any one of them would be fine.
Did we throw this out for bids, or did we just seek these 3 companies out, or?
How many did we send out, Becky?
I want to say we sent out 7 or 9, but we also posted it to the website. So as a proposal though, not as a.
So are we making a motion to accept these
and send it to
recommend
executive
one?
and then go to the board with it?
I make a motion, then we accept this Lauterbach and Amen.
Okay,
for their
motion.
services.
Motion by Rick, seconded by Doug Farster, to approve the low bid from Lauterbach and Amen. We'll move that to the executive committee. All those in favor? What happened?
Aye.
What did I do now?
Tom was third. He was third on the motion.
Oh, you were third. I'm sorry. Replacement hires, the circuit clerk's got a couple. She couldn't make it. She'll probably come to executive to explain that, but they're budgetary thing. And if she's replacing people, it's already in the budget. We have last month we approved a letter of credit for decommissioning for the Shady Oaks. And we didn't have the resolution. We don't have it now, but this is just an FYI. We'll be putting it to the executive committee. Oh, it is in the packet. Okay, all right. And then on to the board for approval. So it's like I said, we approved the letter of credit line of financial assurance, and we just need the resolution to be passed to reflect that.
Did our attorney review it? Obviously.
Charlie did. Okay, funding for the EMA badge maker. Kevin, any insights?
Sorry, I had to step away for a second. I'm running back. Yeah, this was, I talked to Chairman Olson. This was approved for purchase. We've been working on this project for quite some time, in excess of 9 months with IT. And finally, we couldn't find a driver for the old ID card printer. So I talked to Mr. Olson. He said, go ahead and take that out of the CURE funding. And then I received an email that the CURE funding's been completed. So we're looking for a place to take that out of because it has been purchased and delivered and will be installed tomorrow.
Any questions? Well, how much is it, Kevin?
$4,488.25.
Did that come out of your equipment budget then to pay for it, or at this time, or no?
I have $1,330.86 left in equipment.
Well, you know, possibly this could come to the meeting this afternoon also.
Okay.
Is that correct? Kevin?
Yeah, I could. I can, yeah, bring it and see.
That, I mean, this is a public safety issue, correct? So that
Sure.
everyone on site knows who's who, correct?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Identification, sure.
We can talk about that then in the ARP meeting this afternoon.
Okay. I'll bring that invoice with.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Sheriff's Office overtime. And the sheriff is here.
Well, as we previously discussed on several meetings leading up to today, unfortunately, we're about $3,000 from hitting the cap on our overtime line item. And we've got about 5 months left to go in this fiscal year. We hit that perfect storm of people leaving towards the end of the last fiscal year, new hires, long-term injuries in each division, dispatch, corrections, and law enforcement division. And that coupled with the lack of staffing has got us to this point, unfortunately. So I know we're going to have some lengthy discussions at budget hearings, you know, in the next month and a half, 2 months, whenever they're scheduled. But as of now, I just wanted to give you a heads up that we're going to be over before this next payroll hits. So I don't know what direction the committee would like me to go with this, but you know, we're certainly in an unfortunate position right now.
I just wanted to remind you that we moved last year's remainder of the COVID money into the sheriff's overtime line item. That was about $85,000. So I think that's going to help you out a little bit.
I didn't know that. How come I'm not finding out about this stuff when things are being moved in and out of my budget?
I don't know. I didn't understand that. John, I guess well, we had talked about it, but I didn't know that the 85,000, I guess, had been moved to cover that overtime.
I mean, it's all good news, but I mean, it's one of those things we got to communicate so that I know how to
Understand,
operate.
yeah.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have to come up here in front of you and give you such bad news if we've got a little bit of a cushion.
It's not going to be enough to get you through the end of the year. I did a little
I don't believe it will
You're
either,
you're going to
but
be short.
we are going to have a little bit of relief with hopefully some people coming back from the long-term injuries and the young guys getting out of the academy, which will help the road division at least. So I'll do my best when that happens. Okay.
Okay,
Thank
thanks, John.
Just a general question, Jim.
Yes.
You know, when I looked at the capital budget, there's a whole bunch of non-expenditures because of different things happening. Would this be related also of the new money that we could be getting in? We just don't know how we can use it yet. I mean, is it possible to use that for some of the co-work related or the overtime in the sheriff's office? Public safety?
I believe it is. It's something that possibly could be done.
Well, I would just.
I mean, it relate, the last update that I got, and we'll have to, the other committee members, the update that I got, it specifically stated public safety in regard to firefighters, first responders, deputies. It's all in there. So this could be a possibility that we could, pull that, if the 85,000 that was transferred, I guess, if that runs out, then we possibly could supplement that with that funding.
It just seems to me that we in fact will have some money available, of significant amount if we are eligible, so we can't really make budget decisions until we know what.
Correct.
The grant.
That's right. Okay. Any other questions? Rick?
It's not a question. I guess it's just more of a long-term concern is that we're relying on this money here to take care of everyday operating expenses, and we got to come up with a solution for long-term problems, not just temporary Band-Aids. And that's what this would do. But I mean, I understand it helps us out now, but that doesn't address our long-term problems.
In theory, we've been over on overtime for a long time. There's always been reasons, so we need to budget or eliminate some positions so we don't have it or whatever on a long-range plan. But the issue is if it's eligible, because it's one time in theory, because it's overtime due to related some of the expenses, then you'd better to spend that than general, because it's not an ongoing expense in theory until we deal with that in budget.
Anybody else? Tom, your thoughts?
I agree.
Yeah.
It's-
Well,
It's a problem that continues to happen.
Yeah.
I agree with Rick. We
And
spending this money as Band-Aids. It's
right. And there's a lot of one-time too. Well, here, I just got,
time has saved us for several years.
right. And it still is. But I think what we can do, and we had talked about this at the first of the year, when down possibly the middle of the year, we can work on some projections closely with Paula on what we're looking at. Example, last week we received $480-some thousand for the wind turbine fees for that Shady Oaks 2 one-time money. $142 a tower, D, is that right? Something like that. So that's one-time money that helps. But we do, if we could, look 3-4 years down the road maybe and see, what, without the one-time money, I guess is what I'm looking at, and see where we're at.
It's an ugly picture.
I think
Well,
it could be, Arlen, but we're looking, at these, on this, the taxes are, we're up in every category here. It's just like, and I think, I was talking with the chairman about it, and it seems like when that internet tax came about, that Wayfair, and that seems, I don't know if that's related to this or not, but it could be. It just a trend if you look at what's been coming in.
you're right though, in the statement that we have to look in the future. I mean, we are looking at another contract coming up to negotiate. We have the non-union people have yet gotten raises this year appropriated.
Correct.
And looking forward, we're looking at a state mandated $15 an hour minimum wage.
Correct.
Which means everybody else is gonna, so I mean, we definitely have some serious looking at this next budget to look ahead and see where we're going down the road and look at what we're gonna have to do to make it work.
Right.
So
That's right.
Without landfill, much change in whatever I projected 2 years ago, something like that, that we were $1 million deficit when one-time money wasn't there.
I don't have. I believe the landfill has been going up the last few.
Yeah.
Has it not?
It's a little higher than it has been. And I have been cleaning up my projection worksheet and planning on doing some work on that in the next couple of weeks. We could talk about it probably at the July meeting. Before we
Great.
get,
That'd be great, Paula. Thank
yeah,
you.
before we get into the budget talks.
Okay, great. Doug?
Yeah, or Sheriff, maybe this question would be directed to you. What are you averaging in overtime a month currently?
first part of that.
I'm sorry, what are you averaging a month in overtime the last several months? What's the average? Just ballpark, just curious.
40,000. Probably about 20 each pay period, roughly.
Wow.
And
Okay.
that's just off the top of my head right now.
Okay, thank you.
And again, it's attributed more to staffing than anything else, because as soon as somebody's gone, we are paying overtime. And we have 3 people gone right now, actually 4. So we're paying overtime almost every day.
Thank you, John.
Any other questions? Yeah. Okay, we have, anything for Charlie, executive session? Nothing on your end?
No, sir, thank you.
Okay, motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Jim Sheeline, second. Tom Kitson, all those in favor? Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
A record, Jim. I think this is the first one.